Alright, in all honesty, I want to ask you guys, did you really think that John Cena was going to lose the title here at Battleground? Probably not! The one thing that I actually did like about WWE Battleground this year is that even though this is a filler preview show before SummerSlam, there were no filler matches on the card. Every single match that was on Battleground had some sort of somewhat significance, some purpose, some reason behind it. And that's the one thing I liked. However, there were some problems with the show. To me, going into it, there were actually a couple of matches I thought they were going to be better than the main event, but it turns out that the main event actually came across as a better match than, I would say, one or two matches that I expected to be really good, and they ended up being really bad. I'll get more onto that later on this review. But the first match on the show was Fandango versus Adam Rose, and this was the first pre-show match. I'm glad that they booked this match here instead of on the actual card itself. It would just cause problems to me because I want to see matches that will somewhat hype me up to seeing SummerSlam. And like I said, I'm glad that this match, they got this out of the way here. You have Adam Rose go over Fandango, and here you also have Layla and Summer Rae. They were distracting Fandango, and for some reason, them two slapping Fandango in front of the referee never got Adam Rose disqualified. Weird. But like I said, this was one of those matches where you see it, very short, move along. The real pre-show match here was Naomi versus Cameron, and I like that this match was appropriately placed on the card because, again, like I said, is that I don't want to see matches that really have no reason to be on the actual card itself. And what they've done here is that they have Cameron go over Naomi. Come on, WWE. I mean, this was Naomi's moment to shine here, and I guess, this is WWE's way to decide to drag out this storyline between these two divas. But to me, this match was just bad. Really, all this was Naomi showing her frustration and beating up Cameron, and somehow Cameron gets a roll of victory. I guess you can make the argument, yes, that Naomi's aggression cost her the match. You can definitely argue that, but come on. Enough is enough, WWE. Put the right person over here. Have Naomi go over. She is a lot more talented in the ring. I don't get you sometimes, but I'm just going to go forth and move on to actually talk about what was on the card. And this is what they done here at Money in the Bank, is that they started off with the same match, and here I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. Because to me, the build-up between the Usos versus the Wyatt family was really lackluster. There was hardly any story going on here, so I wasn't really invested going into this match at all. But wow, I was actually surprised how this match turned out to be. Here you have the Usos Wyatt family taking titles, 2 out of 3 falls match. And what I like here is that they gave the Wyatt family the first fall in this match, and that the Usos had to crawl their way, work their way back up to getting the second fall and the third fall, which they did here. However, the execution of this match kind of fell flat in the first 2 falls. Here you have Luke Harper get the boot on one of the Usos. He pins him 1, 2, 3. And I was like, that was it? No, I think that was kind of lame. And in between that and the second fall, it was just really rushed. It's like they wanted to get that second fall right in there. and they just completely rushed the entire thing here. And here you have the Usos roll up Luke Harper and get the 1-2-3. And the referee made a boo-boo because Luke Harper's shoulders were not even down for the pinfall. Come on, ref. Do your job right. But when we got to the second and the third fall, that's when we went all out. I love this. Oh, the fans were so much into this match. And the stuff these two teams were doing was incredibly standing. Here you have the Usos flying everywhere. Luke Harper diving out. Here you have one of the Usos go on the barricade and do a diving clothesline. And on top of it all off, here you have a double suplex off the top rope by Eric Rowan to the Usos. And not only that, from the same turnbuckle, here you have both the Usos up there in the same time doing a splash on Eric Rowan for the win here. And I was like, oh, don't fall, don't fall. Oh, thank God. So I was on the edge of my seat here. This was very suspenseful. This was very outstanding. And even though, like I said, the first two falls were really slow and rushed in the same time, between the second and third fall really made up for it. This was a really good opener to kick off Battleground. And I thought that the show overall was really going to hit it all the way. You know, hit that home run, bottom of the ninth, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, the show kind of went downhill from there. But there was something really good that I'll talk about later on, so I'll get to that as well. The next match on the show was AJ Lee defending the Divas Championship against Paige. And going into this match, I thought these two are going to put on a clinic here. But in the same time, I don't want them to do too much, to give away too much. Don't dive in, nosedive, and give us all that you have. Wait it out to SummerSlam. I like the psychology of that aspect of it. But this match was just horrible. Oh, I don't even know where to begin, but it just seemed like when one of the divas would do a move, they would stop. They would do another move, stop, do a move. There was no chemistry. Nothing was really clicking with these two divas. I mean, I was like, whoa, what's happening here? It's like a train wreck happening. And to top it all off, the sunset flip powerbomb from the top rope onto the mat just looked cringeworthy. And I was like, okay, just stop. Pump the brakes here. And just end it now. And here I'm thinking, this could have been so much better. It's AJ Lee and Paige, Divas Championship. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? And that happened. Moving on to the next thing that happened on the show, and it was Rusev versus Jack Swagger. And this match was okay until it actually got pretty good around the end of it. Here you have the two of them outside the ring. And you have Jack Swagger apply the ankle lock on Rusev. He's a real badass here. And then took a 10 count. A count out victory for Rusev to go over here. And what I like here is that they didn't make Jack Swagger look like a chump. They made him look like a badass. And it took a pole, a shot to the head, and knocked him out outside the ring. And the referee counted to 10. Rusev gets a count out victory. And then after the match, you know, what's her name? Lana tells Rusev, crush! And he goes over and applies the accolade on Jack Swagger, making it personal. I like that throughout this match that Jack Swagger was getting that babyface power up. It was really, really awesome here. This was a solid match, I thought. It was kind of struggling at first in the beginning, but at the last few minutes of it, it got really good here. So this wasn't a decent match overall, and I was hoping for some strength things to happen, like I said in my prediction video, but I never really got what I wanted. But like I said, I was fine with this match, and I was fine how they booked this match. They made Swagger still look like a badass. They made Rusev look good here. It's a win-win situation, and this looks like it's going to continue at SummerSlam. And why not have those two have at it in a really good, solid strength match? That's what I'm really looking forward to. And there's also some sort of controversy here coming off Lana's promo in the beginning. I really have no comment right now, but you might hear something out of me maybe in the next week or so about Lana's comments that people thought it was talking about the Malaysia Airlines. So I will talk about that maybe in a future video. Who knows just yet. Moving on to what I think was the best thing that happened on the show. And earlier on, Seth Rollins was supposed to have a match. It was supposed to be the second match on the show. You have him doing a backstage interview with Renee Young here, and then he gets attacked by Dean Ambrose. And then Triple H is like, okay, Dean Ambrose, you're gone. You're out of the building. So there's no match happening. And I'm like, okay, is the match going to happen? And then here you have a couple of matches later, Seth Rollins comes out. He cuts a promo. It says that he will accept a victory via forfeit. And so as soon as he's about to leave, out comes Dean Ambrose. And those two just have at it. Pure brawl, Donnybrook, melee, whatever you want to call it. This was awesome. And I like that it wasn't just a match. Instead of having a match and diving right into it, you don't want to rush something that could potentially be really good here. You build it up even more and you make it as personal and believable and real as possible, and that is how you do it. Here you have Dean Ambrose being a lunatic and flying everywhere, all over the place, all over the announce tables, the barricade. They're brawling in the audience, and then they do a scene later on out in the parking lot. Everything about this was incredible. Instead of doing a match, you do a brawl. This was a smart booking decision on the part of the WWE, making both Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins look really good here. And to me, if you're going to do something like this, later on, you should do a Falls Count Anywhere with the briefcase on the line. Make it happen. SummerSlam, those two. So, like I said, to me, that was the best thing that happened on Battleground. The best booking decision, in my opinion, that happened on the show. And when we get to that, we get to this. And it was Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho, and this was a match I was really excited to see. I think my expectations were just too high. And ultimately at the end, I don't even know what happened. This was a really bad match. I think it's because my expectations were just so high that I'm not going to be disappointed naturally, but ultimately I was disappointed with this match. This could have been a lot better than it should have been. And I hear this, this excuse that people say that, we don't want to give too much away to see what's going to transpire at SummerSlam. I say screw that logic. If these two are going to have at it in a match, and even tease it for a future match, why can't it be a good match here? That's just stupid. These two should have went out and had a good, solid match. You don't have to give us too much away, but just give us enough. This sucked, WWE. There was no chemistry here. There was nothing clicking going on here. I just couldn't get behind anything that was going on in this match other than Bray Wyatt's psychology. Moving on to the 20-man over-the-top rope battle royal for the vacated Intercontinental Championship. And what I really like about this match is that I like the end result. And I'll get to that in just a bit. And basically what happened here is that Wade Barrett comes out and he basically says whoever wins this match is just going to be the placeholder until I come back and beat you for the title. That's pretty much what he said. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. He had to get that in there, and JBL, predictable as hell, he says, I love when he says that. I mean, of course, JBL's going to say that because he says that every time Bad News Barrett says it. So, moving on to this match, I actually thought this was a fair match overall. Here you have, in the very beginning, you have every single guy eliminate the Great Khali. It came down to guys like Ziggler, Bo Dallas, Sheamus, and The Miz. And before that transpired, here you have Heath Slater eliminating Cesaro. The same Cesaro that walked with and eliminated the Big Show over his shoulders in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And now Heath Slater eliminates the same guy that done that? What the hell? I mean, I get you want to create that shock value to your match, but using Cesaro to do it? I don't know about that. And also, you also had Kofi Kingston's moment. Of course, Kofi Kingston has to have some sort of highlight in this match where he's on Big E's shoulders, and he goes back in the ring. I love the exchange between Cesaro and Kofi Kingston, and they could have went there with Kofi Kingston winning this match. I mean, for some reason, the logic behind Kofi Kingston is that he has that one big highlight and never wins. Why not give him his win here? I mean, he's the guy that highlights every single Battle Royal and he doesn't win it. What does that say on the part of the WWE? Exactly. And here you have the final guys going on in this Battle Royal. And basically what happened is that throughout this entire match, here you see The Miz somehow doing this snarly thing by buying his time for the right time to come in. He done it a couple of times, but at the end he eliminates Dolph Ziggler here. Everyone thought Dolph Ziggler wins, and then The Miz comes in and eliminates Dolph Ziggler. That was genius on the part of The Miz. The only thing I would have done differently for The Miz is to have him not come in the first two times that he did and just wait it out until the right perfect time to come in, to make people really forget that he's there, even though we saw him around the ring outside. So yeah, that could have been executed maybe a little bit better, but I like that The Miz won this match. And here was one of my picks. It was Bo Dallas, Miz, Cesaro, Ziggler. I'm fine with The Miz winning here. Now you can do different things here. You can do The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler for the title. You can do The Miz versus Sheamus. Maybe merge them. I don't know about that idea, but hey, that's an option. You can also do The Miz versus Cesaro, or The Miz versus Bad News Barrett when he comes back, and have Bad News Barrett as the babyface. So I like that with the Miz, you can create these different options. And with that being said, this is a guy that just came back. They rebooted him, the Hollywood Miz, and why not capitalize it by giving him a signature victory here? Same goes with Chris Jericho. I mean, going back to this match between Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt, I actually didn't mind that Chris Jericho won this match, because you want to establish Chris Jericho and not ruin his legacy in any sort of way, because you don't want to rush into Chris Jericho jobbing out of someone when he just came back. I mean, they've done it with CM Punk, they've done it with Ziggler, so I like what they've done here with Chris Jericho here as well. Give him a signature victory, but on the other hand, it kind of makes Bray Wyatt look terrible in my opinion. I mean, at least what they could have done here is have Bray Wyatt get some sort of last word to say this rivalry is continuing. It almost feels like that they ended that match abruptly. I don't know, that's just my opinion. But like I said, I was okay with Chris Jericho winning, much like I was okay with The Miz winning the Intercontinental Championship. And then we get to the main event of the show. John Cena, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and Kane for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Yep, this was predictable as heck. And the funny thing is, I actually didn't mind this match a lot more than the Divas title match and the Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt match. I thought this match was actually a little bit better than those two, even though, yes, you had that predictability and cliche factor throughout this entire match. I mean, how many cliches can you throw into this match? RKO here, yep, it's going to happen here. Chokeslam here, chokeslam there, spear here, spear there. AA here, STF here. I mean, every spot that happened in this match, I pretty much called it. Pretty much like the main event for Money in the Bank. So, to me, when the WWE presents their main championships on the show, for some reason, I just can't get behind the hype behind it. I find that there's more hype than the Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose than there is the main event championship match. That's saying a lot on the part of the WWE, but I actually am okay with John Cena winning here, even though you can argue that Roman Reigns, yes, he was the star of this main event. He had his big moments here. Why not just shoot the barrel here, boom, go all the way and have Roman Reigns win? And for some reason, they're teasing Roman Reigns and John Cena. Why not go all the way with it here and have their match at SummerSlam instead of having Brock Lesnar and John Cena go at it? That is dumb. That is stupid. Put Roman Reigns in that spot, not Brock Lesnar. Do it, do it, do it. Pick your nose and chew it. So there you have it. So overall, I thought this show was pretty much average. I don't think it was a great show. I don't think it was outstanding, but it was somewhere right in the middle. It was an okay show. You can give it a C, you can give it an average rating, you can give it 5 out of 10, but I choose to remember this show as a forgettable filler throwaway to SummerSlam. And that's basically what it is. And if you saw Battleground, what did you think about it? Comment below, let me know. While you're at it, you can hit that subscribe button down below this video. You can also follow MRB Wrestling on Twitter, and you can like us on Facebook at the Mick Rock and Bolt Wrestling Review Show. And on a final note, to all you viewers watching, get plenty of rest, and always do your best.